Government AI-generated fake YouTubers are now a thing and they are super scary. Hi guys, recently I found a video on YouTube about Destiny doing some research in some weird schizo things, and one thing caught my attention. This dude named Egon Cholakian is supposed to be a person with a lot of influence in the US government, but he never existed, and everything about him is just odd or weird in some way. This post was made to the subreddit r/internet mysteries on 28th August 2024. It featured a seemingly normal YouTube account of an older man and claimed that there apparently are government bots using their fake credentials to influence people on the internet. And those seeing the post agreed. I just went down an insane rabbit hole. Their faces look so freaky it makes me weirdly uncomfortable. It looks very AI generated, like it was made with an early version of Runway ML. And while this does sound strange to someone who never used the internet before, government bots, trolls and fake accounts have been a thing for a long time. But as you'll soon find out, this is no ordinary government bot. And the truth may be way darker than I originally thought. But before we start, I'd like to explain a couple of things just to avoid unnecessary problems. First of all, I'm not trying to make any claims or theories. The only aim of this video is to outline the information I've gathered on this rabbit hole. So please don't treat this too seriously. It's just a fun new topic that I wanted to explore. Secondly, to those who knew my channel before, I'm really sorry for over a month of absence. I just couldn't make any videos abroad. But do not worry, I am fully back now, so I'll try to be more consistent. So with that settled out, I hope you enjoy, and let's move on to the video. So let's first ask the fundamental question. Who even is the alleged bot that I'm talking about? Well, his name is Egon Cholakian. He is a particle physicist, a lobbyist in the US government, member of the CERN laboratory, a lecturer, a member of the International Association of Intelligence Service Teachers, civil law attorney, and he even served as an advisor under President Reagan, President Nixon, Ford and Carter. So yeah, this guy definitely has a good portfolio. But is it all real? Well, if you aren't experienced with the internet but decide to Google this guy, you may be surprised to see documents proving his achievements. For example, Dr. Egan apparently has a profile on Harvard Academia, where he published over 20 scientific papers on various topics, including particle physics, medicine, neurology, taxation, economics, and even national security. Not only that, but Mr. Egan also has his own account with 4 publications on ResearchGate, and he even appears on the official GovInfo website in a court case involving Mr. Egan himself and the FBI. Although this may actually be a real person with the same name, so don't take this for granted. So how is it possible that such a skilled, experienced and influential individual went under the radar for so many years? I mean, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page. Something doesn't seem right. Well, the answer is simple. Dr. Egon Cholakian does not exist. And how do I know this? Let me introduce Dr. Egon Cholakian.
Hello, my name is Egon Cholakian. Today I have an urgent message for all of humanity that pertains to the fate of our civilization. I elected to bring this message to your esteemed attention following my recent participation in a joint Nobel Prize Committee National Academies of Science meeting in Washington, D.C., whereat we discussed the issues of misinformation and disinformation. This sparked a launch in my life where I realized there was so much misleading information on the subject of
As the description of Egan's channel reads, this is the official YouTube channel for the Earth Safe Science Collaborative Project. The purpose of this project will be to engage in scientific research to address the global climate threat. Dr. Egon Chalakian, a lobbyist in the US Congress and White House, invites all scientists who care about humanity's fate to join in creating a unified international scientific center. The channel itself goes by the name Earth Save Science Collaborative, but I'll refer to it as ESSC. The most recent video, The Impact, is 8.5 hours long, and for obvious reasons I didn't watch it. But just looking at some fragments of it and reading the description indicates how bizarre the topic is. The authors of The Impact state that the documentary is founded on a 30-year investigation carried out by the team working with Dr. Egon Chalakian. This film is not just a documentary, it is a meticulously crafted research that goes deep into the shadows of global unrest. With an unflinching lens, The Impact reveals the sinister adversary that now sets its sights on America, intent on igniting a civil war that threatens to dismantle the very pillars of democracy. Looking at the names of Egon's videos, it becomes clear that the channel's aim is not to save the planet. Most of his videos appear to be some sort of a conspiracy theory, talking about an upcoming US civil war or cosmic threats. But it gets even more interesting once we look at his website, which goes by the same name as his YouTube channel. On there, we'll find even more achievements of Dr. Egon and a brief description of his project. But the most interesting part are photos that he claims to be in. For example, in this picture we can see Dr. Egon next to Maria Zuber, an American geophysicist at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and Kate Rubins, an American microbiologist and NASA astronaut, starting from the left side. And I have to admit, the picture looks very convincing. But doing a simple reverse search will show that it is completely fabricated and that Mr. Egon was simply edited into the picture. But let's return to Egon Chalakian himself for a second. After analysing Mr. Egon's YouTube channel and website, I still wasn't satisfied. It was clear to me that something is off, but I couldn't tell what. From what I concluded, this guy fabricated documents and photos to make himself look professional and influential. All of this just to make a couple of videos on conspiracy theories. That just didn't seem right to me. So, out of curiosity, I checked if his contact details are legit using an email finder. And what surprised me is that it's a completely normal email. This raised even more questions. The person behind Egon not only went out of their way to fabricate documents and pictures, but even created a legit account linked to a YouTube channel, a website, as well as a LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even an IMDb account. This led me to Google Egon Chalakian once again, but this time I paid attention to all the websites that showed up. And as I made my way through countless articles praising Egon, I stumbled upon one particular odd-looking website. And let me tell you, it gets very interesting now. Said website goes by the name Creative Society, and upon entering it, I was greeted with the view of our beloved Egon Chalakian. This got me interested, so I went to the homepage of this Creative Society thing, and I was shocked to find out that there apparently are millions of people worldwide who belong to this organization. According to their description, Creative Society is an international project that unites people from over 180 countries on a voluntary basis. The goal of the project is to transition, in a legal and peaceful way, within the shortest possible time to a new creative format of a society worldwide, where human life will be the highest value. That's fascinating to say, because I have never heard of them before. But anyways, apart from their Illuminati-looking ass logo, members in 180 countries, no form of external funding, and 8 pillars that look like they're straight out of the Bible, they also offer a huge range of benefits to those who decide to join their organization. Starting from a monthly income of $10,000 for everyone, at least a 60 meters square apartment, and visa-free travel, and ending on cancellation of all debt and loans, no taxes, 4-hour workdays 4 days a week, and $100,000 for giving birth to a child. All of this if you just joined our amazing society. Yeah, all of this sounds incredibly strange and cult-like, doesn't it? But that's not all. On the website, they also offer thousands of videos, scientific documents, and interviews with scientists about the upcoming apocalypse and how it can be stopped by this creative society. In order to seem more authentic, they claim to base their knowledge on UN climate reports, which would be totally understandable, but as you soon find out, they tend to manipulate the facts a little. On their latest climate news section, virtually every post is about some hidden disasters that are definitely happening. While on their video section, they tend to use interesting phrases like the mission of the chosen people, or what surprised me the most, Allatra Climate Crisis Summit. But we'll get to that later, so just remember the name Allatra. Unfortunately, the official Creative Society YouTube channel doesn't exist anymore, but I was able to find a few smaller subsectional channels that were probably used in other countries. One of them, with its name written in Hungarian, is this channel. As you may have expected, our beloved Egan is here alongside those strange conspiracy theory videos. And surprisingly, their most popular video has well over 200,000 views, which is impressive to say the least. My guess is a lot of their views come from bots, which is evident from the comments. There's just this distinct style that all bots tend to have. The second channel goes by the name Creative Society Music, and it's exactly that. In most cases, it's just some AI-generated music with stock footage, but they do have a few proper songs with a video to go with it. For example, there's a song about this lady who receives an invite to the Creative Society. Of course, she makes the only logical move, which is joining it, and suddenly, everything becomes amazing. But there's actually more depth to this song than I originally thought. As the song goes on, we see footage of Creative Society members giving out invites and going on marches in real life. The whole clip has this code-like vibe and doesn't even try to hide its intentions. But there is just one more detail that I'd like you to keep in mind. Just remember this woman because she'll be important later. But let's return to Mr. Egan for a brief moment now. As I was doing more research, I found this amazing comment that analysed basically everything possible relating Egan Chalakian, so credits to this user, thank you. What was found is that Egan is actually a registered lobbyist working for Allatra, which again we'll speak about in a second, which is evident from the fact that he has an official lobbying registration on the US Senate's website. But then, when we look at his incomplete LinkedIn profile, incredibly rich portfolio, and the fact that he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page, it's safe to assume that he isn't a real person. So now, a new question arises. How in the hell did this fake guy become a registered lobbyist? Well, I have no idea. I guess that for now this is a mystery. One thing is sure though. Even if Egan Chalakian is in fact real, he does work for Creative Society as some form of a fraudster, because he appears on virtually every YouTube channel and website connected to this case. With this settled now, we can move on to the next part. As I previously mentioned, another connection that I began to formulate as I did more research was to an organization which goes by the name Allatra. And I'll be completely honest, just a glimpse at their website was enough to set the bullshit alarm off. As their description reads, Allatra International Public Movement is an association of proactive, honest, decent and friendly individuals from over 180 countries worldwide. It represents a new format of relationships irrespective of nationalities, professions, social status, religious and political views. And again, it uses a seemingly noble cause, which is saving the planet, in order to recruit new followers into their cult. Oh, and by the way, Mr. Egan is here as well. From what I concluded, Allatra is the mastermind behind this whole operation, with Creative Society and ESSC being their off-brands. Most surprisingly, when going on their press releases and news section, we can read that Allatra's president, who they claim to be Marina Ovstinova, and Egon Chalakian met with Pope Francis to discuss climate change. And while most of the photos are in fact real, and come from a June 22nd, 2024 meeting, the ones depicting Egon Chalakian don't appear anywhere on the official Vatican sites. The alleged president of Allatra is actually a real person and even appears on the official Vatican website. I did some research into her, and it turns out that she used to be a music teacher before joining Allatra and making her way to become the vice president of the Allatra subgroup in the US. I have no clue how she ended up in a meeting with Pope Francis, but there she is. I guess joining a cult does make you an important person. A more in-depth analysis of Allatra and their alleged president was done by a group called Śledztwo, which claims to be a team of independent journalists from Ukraine, and they actually found a lot about this cult, so shout out to them. Go see their YouTube video if you're interested, because it has English subtitles. But moving forward, it's also worth looking at Allatra's YouTube channel, which goes by the name Good in Action, and posts the same bizarre shit as all the previously mentioned channels, with Egan being a commonly reoccurring figure on their videos. They actually gathered almost 20,000 subscribers and 2 million views, so it's not like they don't have any reach. Speaking of which, there is a vast amount of those fake news websites making articles on Allatra and its offsprings. They often pretend to be mainstream media outlets and post articles exclusively about this cult and how magnificent and good it is. But that's not all. I even found mainstream media outlets, and I mean the real ones, promoting Allatra. The most prominent examples were an article from the Washington Times about this mysterious Igor Danilov guy who's described as an innovator in medicine and a member of Allatra. It turns out that this article is actually sponsored, and I don't want to throw names, but you can probably figure out who it was sponsored by. What's interesting is that this Igor guy is the spiritual leader of Allatra, and one of the founding members, as discovered by the Śledztwo group mentioned before. He even has a book published about him titled Sensei of Shambhala, which was written by his colleague Anastasia Novik in order to promote the claim that he possesses divine power or some bullshit. She actually wrote 3 continuations of this book, as well as a couple others, so I guess that business is booming. But what's even more interesting is that this Allatra cult even has a network of websites relating to self-improvement and women equality. Both of these sites have repeatedly posted about Allatra and Creative Society, blatantly praising them for saving the planet. They also have a network of Facebook and Instagram accounts ranging from a couple thousand to 55,000 followers. The most prominent and popular account that I found was this one, with one of its videos receiving nearly 700,000 views. Surprisingly, it actually does talk about climate change, but not in the conventional way. Instead, they blame everything on this 12,000 years long cycle that naturally causes the Earth to change its climate, and openly deny the impact of humans on climate change in the comments. And what's interesting about this video is that it looks like a normal TV program. And I'll be honest, if I saw that somewhere and didn't know about Creative Society, I wouldn't have guessed it's some code bullshit. By the way, I have no clue who the hell watches this on Facebook, but yeah, let's just move on to the next one. Regarding their activity on YouTube, I found a dozen of accounts either created or even taken over by Allatra. Some of their channels barely have any subscribers and views, while some, which were most likely stolen, have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. All of these channels are united by two things: conspiracy theories and Egon Chalakian. I'm not even kidding, like, he is everywhere. Starting with small channels like this climate crisis one, or this one, or even this Polish one that I found. And ending on bigger channels like Wake Up Time, Investigate TV, this monstrosity, but most notably this Polish channel with over 700,000 subscribers that was recently taken over. And of course Mr. Egon is here. The last channel that I found is called Miss Truthful, and it's actually controlled by that lady from the music video, which shows that the members of Creative Society are connected in some way to all these online accounts. But as I gradually went deeper and deeper into the Allatra rabbit hole in order to find the truth, I realized that this topic may be even darker. You see, while doing research for this video, I have also stumbled upon some articles, mostly in Czech, Slovakian and Ukrainian, talking about Creative Society and Allatra recruiting members and advertising in public places. For example, this article from a Czech newspaper,
Lidové noviny,
which is actually the oldest operating newspaper in the Czech Republic, talks about a mysterious pro-Russia sect advertising on public transport lines. And surprise, surprise, this pro-Russian code is Creative Society. And fortunately, as I delved deeper into the Eastern European side of the internet, I found countless Ukrainian articles covering the topic of Allatra. I've already mentioned Śledztwo News before, but other newspapers such as Ukraińska Prawda or Front News have also spoken about Allatra. And what's interesting, there was actually a crackdown on Allatra and Creative Society in Ukraine last year, with the Ukrainian government shutting down 20 centers of Allatra. I also found this one Polish article from Onet News, which talks about an alleged member of Allatra who managed to escape the code. She mentions that many members of Allatra formed a personality cult around Putin and believe in Russian dominance over other nations. And lastly, I also found this BBC article about an international forum on climate change hosted by Creative Society. Apparently many of the invited scientists weren't informed that by climate change they meant cosmic pulses, cyclicity and denying the contribution of humans and greenhouse gases. What's interesting to me is that even powerful figures such as the Slovakian State Secretary, Juraj Smetana, were tricked into participating in this conference. And to sum up my research into Allatra, Creative Society and Egon Chalakian, I also found this Reddit post from an alleged ex-Creative Society member who claims that he is persecuted by them following his withdrawal from the group. Although this is obviously not confirmed, so don't take this for granted. But knowing other cult-like organizations such as Scientology and their practices, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the truth. So, with that, we have reached the end of this interesting discovery. I know that this video may seem a bit strange and obscure, but I hope that you've liked it. Obviously, I apologize for any potential subjective thoughts and opinions that I may or may not have shared in this video, but I do hope that I didn't sound like a total fucking freak when I was talking about this code. Once again, thank you for watching this video and interacting with it, even if it meant watching a minute and leaving a thumbs down. I just can't describe how happy I am to know that my work, something that took me weeks to make, is receiving some feedback. Any feedback. So yeah, I'm Matti and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.